Okay, fellas, brilliant job with finally beating Man City through the quarterfinals. Now, what I don't want to see is a drop off against Bayern Munich. Do not let your good work go to waste from that first knockout round, okay? Let's keep sharp and make our way through the semis. Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 152 of Husavik Heroes here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well, and coming up in today's episode we are going to play the first leg of the quarterfinals in the Champions League against Bayern Munich. Alongside that, as you can see on screen, we have the NxGn list for 2034. We've also got an update on what happened at the latter stages of the League Cup this season as well. And we'll also keep an eye out on the other quarterfinals after the first leg in the Champions League as well. So if you are looking forward to today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video. And if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But we start off today's episode with this year's NxGn list. As you can see already, there's a few Volsungur players there on the first page. We'll get into the Volsungur players first things first before talking about what we usually do off this NxGn list, and that is signing players off of it. That's been quite profitable for us over the past few seasons, especially last year, and that is shown by the players who are on this list for us this season. We've got Clolo ranked at 6, currently out on loan at Lille. He is our young promising right back who we might give some first team football to next season, ahead of someone maybe like Lev Van Tam. We've also got Louis Herrera ranked 9th. He's still at the club as a backup to Kenny Boreal. He's not too far away though from being better than Kenny Boreal. So yet again, he's a player who might work his way into the first team for the next European season. Then a little bit further down the list, we've got Bokic. He's another player we signed off of this list last season. He was the one who suffered a broken lower leg at the latter stages of the last domestic season. He's ranked 19th with quite high potential again at left back. He's a player we probably need to give some game time to, at least domestically, next season. So that's going to be interesting when we do some more transfer business. And also another player who is currently out on loan at Cologne, who are still in the Europa League, and that is Tomohiro Horikawa. He is down at 33 with his 3-star current ability and 4-star potential. He might be the guy who takes over from Chaka Traore, should we not find someone suitable to replace him in the next year or so. So those are our players on this NxGn list. A few of them ranked quite highly this season. Having a quick look at those guys at the top, that Mazoki is a player we have kept our eye out on for a while, at least personally off camera, but his potential doesn't actually look that good despite the fact he has 2.5-star current ability at 19 years old. I think the real pick out of this list this year is going to be the runner-up in Felipe, a centre-back from Sporting, 2-star current ability, but 4-star potential, and is available at quite a low price as well. That might be someone who we could potentially go after in this upcoming transfer window. In terms of players we've been able to sign off of this list, unlike in previous years, this time only one player who was available to sign on a free transfer wanted to join us, and that was a midfielder down in the 40 to 50 range. That was this guy Wright, who we don't have too much of an idea about, a Cypriot midfielder, attacking midfielder. So we have offered him a contract, but he was the only one we could offer a contract to off of the NxGn list this season. So we'll see if he turns out to be anything good. Would be quite useful if we did have another promising midfielder with high potential to come through the club, but he is the only one we have been able to offer a contract to off of this year's NxGn list. But quite a few Volsungur players on there, 2 inside the top 10, so it might be time to give those guys a bit more game time in the first rotation come the start of the next European season. But going forward a bit off the back of that NxGn list, the main focus of today's episode is the first leg of the quarterfinal of the Champions League against Bayern Munich. If you did miss the second leg of the first knockout round yesterday against Manchester City, I'll leave a link to that in the top right corner. But this is what the quarterfinals do look like before we have a deeper look at Bayern Munich. Off the back of that win over Man City in yesterday's episode, we did have to tidy up things in the League Cup. We played our last game of the group stage with our rotation team. In the end, picked up a very comfortable 7-1 win there, with some of our youngsters scoring goals, including Rune Bello coming off the bench, a player who was on last season's NxGen list, I think, or the year before, and we picked up on a free transfer. But a very comprehensive win there to make sure that we did make our way out of the group. Off the back of that, we did have an international break. That meant in the semi-final, when we would have usually played our strongest team, we had to change things up just a little bit because players were tired off the back of that international break. But we did pick up a 3-0 win there. Jonata picking up a first half double, as well as Elias Anderson in the second half. And off the back of that, we put out a rotated team for the final of the League Cup this season, with the gap being quite short between that and this first leg away at Bayern. And we did still pick up a 2-1 win here, albeit it was a very, very close run thing. 2 goals to Hercules Delfino in either half saw us get the job done there, but HK probably outplayed us slightly in that one, which is a little bit interesting. Hopefully that shows they're going to be a decent team in the next season of European qualifying. They did have a chance late there to grab an equaliser, but one of our former players in Werner Bayer, his penalty was saved in the bottom left corner from Declan Spencer, and that did mean that thankfully we did not have to go to extra time, and we pick up the League Cup here in Iceland yet again. And if we go over the club info page, we can confirm that we won that for the 12th time in 13 years, which we have been a part of it. So we do very well in that competition, picking it up yet again and making it 12 in that deal to Bakar. But we are focusing today on the first leg of this quarterfinal of the Champions League. I could have potentially put both legs in this episode, but I wasn't too sure if I'd have enough time to get through the semi-final as well before the end of the week. So that is why we are splitting this one over 2 legs. We'll get back into the normal swing of things come the start of next week, provided that we do get past Bayern Munich in this quarterfinal. But they are a team which we did defeat in the quarterfinals 2 seasons ago when we did make the semis before Real Madrid did knock us out that time. And of course, last year we didn't have to play them on our path to the final. But they are a 5-star reputation club, very good team in the Bundesliga, albeit not dominating that perhaps as much as you would expect them to be. Just have a little bit of a gap there over Hertha Berlin, only 4 points usually in these saves. They have a bit of a bigger gap than that at the top of the domestic league. So hopefully that means they're a little bit weaker than they usually are, and we can beat them like we did 2 seasons ago at this exact same stage of the Champions League. But in terms of personnel, they look fairly similar to what they did have a few seasons ago. So not too many changes, I think, there from the last time which we did play them. So hopefully we can make our way through to the semi-finals after dumping out Man City yesterday. If we didn't win it this year, I'll be a bit disappointed after we did finally get past a good team like Manchester City, and as well as that, Real Madrid have already been knocked out as well. Those are the 2 teams who have knocked us out over the past few seasons. So hopefully this year is going to be our year. In terms of us, we do have 1 injury going into this one, which we do need to cover off. Ian Carlo, he has pulled knee ligaments, out for 5 to 10 days. He might be available for that second leg coming up in tomorrow's episode, but is not available for this first leg. So to make up for that, we have brought Stamatas Chatzakis onto the bench as our right back cover. I did briefly think about using Patrick Nygaard as right back cover, seeing as he is listed as our best right back in that overall 11 so far in the save, but he can't really mark too well, so I thought we'd be actually get a player who is half decent defensively. So that is why Stamatas Chatzakis makes his way onto the bench, but that is the only change from our squad that we did have in yesterday's episode. The starting 11 is exactly the same, and hopefully we can carry on our performance from yesterday at home against Manchester City into this quarterfinal first leg away from home in Munich. And we'll come back shortly and get into the action against Bayern in this Champions League quarterfinal first leg. And here are the team sheets for this quarterfinal first leg. There are Bayern Munich. They have made a few changes off what we did see before on the club info page, namely Adesi, the very good striker up front, who we did look at signing a few seasons ago when he was on the cheap before Fiorentina did pinch him from underneath our noses outside of one of our transfer windows. But there is our team just before, and we are underway here in the first leg of this quarterfinal. And only 2 minutes into this, we have an early free kick, which Zimmerman tries to put top right corner, actually forces a decent save there out of the Bayern goalkeeper. Zimmerman, certainly not the best free kick taker here at the club, but nearly gets that one in the back of the net. But Bayern Munich do deal with the corner off the back of that chance. We'll just wait and see if anything else does come from this corner as Nicholas Zimmerman starts to make his way forward. This highlight for now will continue, but Basaroge's pass is blocked. Still 0-0 after 5 minutes. And right off the back of that previous highlight, Bayern Munich there briefly on the attack, but we head that ball away, and Nicholas Zimmerman here gets into the opposition half, and he's looking like he's going to be in great form early. Brilliant chance here for Kalen Rakasan, but yet again, that's a very good save there from the Bayern Munich goalkeeper. So we're staying off strong in this game, but haven't put the ball in the back of the net, and we really should have that time. Big chance for Kalen Rakasan. Nothing coming from the corner either as Joshua Kimmich makes his way down the right-hand side. Good slide tackle there from Ali Ramadan after 7 minutes. And we go forward now to the 25-minute mark. It is a corner here for Bayern Munich. They try and go far post, but Filippo Dinelli is there to tidy that up. And now Luca Romero tries to put that out to the right-hand side. Kenny Boreal will deal with that. In fact, it's our left-hand side, their right-hand side. But anyway, Bayern are still in possession, and we might get something going here potentially on the counter-attack. Nice little flick there to try and get us back on the front foot, but that ball searching for Chaka Traore does not link up with anyone, and Bayern here might get a chance again, as that is this time Ramadan heading that back to Bayern Munich, and now a Desi from a tight angle. Hurlovic comes out searching, which is interesting, but thankfully that doesn't cost us anything, but still Bayern Munich are on the attack, and Alphonso Davies given a lot of space here down the left-hand side, and somehow Luca Romero squeezes that into that bottom right corner, and just like that, Bayern Munich do go 1-0 up here just after the halfway stage in the first half of this first league. How costly is that chance before two Kalen Rakasan going to be? That was a big one. Somehow there, Luca Romero just gets that through a big crowd of bodies, and it is 1-0 Bayern after 26 minutes. And only a few minutes off the back of that previous highlight, we are down the other end now for a throw-in of our own. Good shot there from Dumbia, but it is blocked there, I think, from a Bayern player. But Lee Van Tam puts that far post, and Kalen Rakasan makes up for that big missed chance around about the 10-minute mark. And there is our equaliser. And as I said, probably that makes up for that big chance that did go begging in the early stages of that one. I think it's a good slide tackle there from Stephen Gold, which does block that initial shot from Lassana Doumbia. But we have two players open at the far post. Kalen Rakasan puts that bottom left corner, and it's 1-1 at the half-hour mark. And just shy of half-time, it is a throw-in here for Bayern Munich. Ali Ramadan gets there, but for some reason hits that straight into the path of Carlos Alexandre, despite having a lot of other options. And now as the goal scorer here down the left-hand side plays that one in for Chicane. Big chance, but thankfully misses the target, and hopefully that means we are going to go into the sheds here. Still locked up at 1-1. A few good chances there for both teams in the first half, despite Bayern having a slightly higher XG. I would argue that scoreline is probably fair. They've slightly dominated things there stats-wise though, so hopefully we can just improve a little bit here in the second half, and at the very least do what we did against Manchester City and take a draw back to Iceland and try and get the better of them there back in our home nation. Just debating here whether we regroup or stick to counter-pressing at halftime. I think we'll just leave things as they are for now. Tell the boys we don't like what we've seen, even though we're still right in this one. Kicking off the second half, locked up at 1-1. And just shy of 10 minutes into the second half, yet again Bayern Munich here with a throw-in inside their own half. Nice ball there from Alphonso Davies, but Adesi thankfully puts that just over the top right corner. But we are looking just a little bit vulnerable here defensively, so I think we are going to hit the regroup option there and see what that does. Still 1-1 with 35 minutes left. And we've gone forward a few minutes off the back of that previous highlight. Time for us to make our first substitution. Chaka Traore only going okay down to a red heart. It will be Jonada, who was in quite good form in that League Cup, coming on for him with just under a half hour left. And 20 minutes left in this one. We do have our next highlight. Bayern Munich will start things off here with a goal kick, and Vic Lind, a quite young centre-back, albeit only 3-star current ability and potential. I was looking at signing him a little while ago, but with that potential, I think there might be better options out there, like Felipe, who was on that NxGen list, but he boots it deep, and we are back in position. Can we grab a goal to put us in front here in the away leg? That would be a big advantage to take back to Iceland for tomorrow's episode. We eventually get this in to the opposition half. Nice ball over there for Adam Saki. He actually gets a shot off, but a good block there by one of the Bayern defenders, and it's still 1-1 with about 18 minutes left, and we now do have quite a few players out there on a red heart. We'll just debate here what substitutions we could make at this time. And I think with most of the players on a red heart, they're on a green rating. There is only one not on a green rating. So I think what we're going to do here is bring on Karel Giroux for the Sana Dumbia. It's 2 subs used, still 1-1 with 18 minutes left. And shortly off the back of that second substitution, we are down our end here for a goal kick. Husavik Heroes gets rid of that, and Adam Saki can't compete there with Upamecano, and it is Bayern Munich here who get a great chance to launch an attack here from inside of our half. Carlos Alexandre just holding things up, playing that back to Kenny Lamb, and the player who probably should have scored there late in the first half, Chicane, gets that to Alexandre Lamb in there for Namira inside the box now. Some good play. Alexandre tries to put that past Husavik at his near post. It goes over the bar. Still 1-1 with 15 minutes left, and now Kenny Boreal down to a red heart. I think we could potentially improve there. Will be Louis Herrera to come on for him with our last sub. And we are just about to approach injury time in this one. That's been pretty quiet off the back of us making that last substitution. It's been a pretty even game in the end, with slightly out XG'd Bayern Munich here in the end, but based on those good highlights that we did see in the first half, that second half, not quite so much doing apart from that good chance there. I think that might be the one to Adam Saki, which was blocked by one of the Bayern Munich defenders, but there was enough even play there going on throughout that game. Now I think a 1-1 scoreline, not a bad result, and we will take that going back to Iceland, much like we did in that game against Manchester City. But in the end, not a bad performance, certainly not as good as we did put out against City yesterday back at home, but hopefully back home in tomorrow's episode we can replicate that and make our way through to the semi-finals of the Champions League. Yet again, not a bad performance, but we certainly could have played a lot better, and it is 1-1 here going into the second leg in tomorrow's episode of the quarterfinals. And just going forward a few more days off the back of that first leg there against Bayern Munich, just so we can update you guys on the scorelines from all of the quarterfinals going in to the second leg in tomorrow's episode. And here things are, we are locked up with Bayern Munich, but apart from that, there are advantages to a side in all of the other ties, especially Arsenal. Looks like they have got almost a free pass there off the back of a 5-0 win against Benfica in the first leg, and Man United and PSG, they hold narrow advantages going into the second leg of those ties against Barcelona and Liverpool respectively. The one that we are keeping an eye out on is the one between PSG and Liverpool, because if we can get past Bayern, that will be our opponent for the semi-finals. But I think that will do it for today's episode. That first leg of the Champions League quarterfinals, picking up a 1-1 draw away from home, and hopefully we can build on that in the home league and make our way through to the semi-finals for a third straight season. If you did enjoy today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. Tomorrow we will come back and play the second leg of this quarterfinal with not much going on in between now and then. I might also get a potentially quite big transfer over the line going into that game as well, now that we do know how much money we do still have spare after trying to sign some players off of that NxGen list, and that player would be someone who would step straight into the first team for next European season. So hopefully we can unveil him in tomorrow's episode as well. And off the back of that quarterfinal, we might also talk about a little bit more transfer business, which we are going to do, seeing as there won't be much else going on in that episode apart from that second leg of that quarterfinal. But that's what's coming up in tomorrow's episode. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.